for joining me in my office today. I am so excited to share my pitch deck with you. We have been working on this hardcore for the last few months, and it is ready to be exposed to the public, and it is ready to be reviewed by you. Let's get started. I have to tell you, I am so excited to be here at episode number 10. And not just emotionally, because this has been a lot of work on my part, but I learned recently that statistics show that 4 out of 5 podcasters don't actually make it to their 10th episode. And over half of them don't end up making it to their 20th. In fact, about 1% of podcasters are making it to episode number 21. So I think I said earlier in one of my earlier real life business episodes that this was taking me about 12 hours per episode. And I figured it would go down based on, the amount of time put into it. I would figure I would make it more efficient. However, there's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of tools and tricks and techniques and tips out there to learn and to implement. And so I would actually say that I have increased the time that I'm spending. However, I think it's getting better and I think it's getting stronger. And here I am on video, right? This is my first episode on video. So we are growing and we're excited to be here. And I have to tell you, the reason we're still here at number 10 and we're gonna still be here at episode 21 is because we know too much. We've learned too much. I've learned too much. I can't let this go now. I cannot let this go now. The Human-Canine Alliance, it's on, right? We're at episode number 10 and we're gonna make it to episode 21 and we're not going away. Stay with us. First off, one of my main goals is to streamline the Human-Canine Alliance's intentions, strategies, and execution tactics. It's supposed to capture what the essence of the organization is and what we're trying to do here and why we're trying to do it and why it matters now. Being able to have answers to those questions obviously is really important to any organization, but that was the number one reason I wanted to pull together this pitch deck, because I felt like having so many different channels now, which you'll learn about more in this podcast. I've opened up multiple other channels since my last real life business episode with you guys. And one of my overall strategies is an omnipresent approach, which is basically taking a look at all of your channels and making sure that they have the same message going across. So the pitch deck is something I'm able to come back to now and really just make sure that the message that I have honed and created for whatever channel that I'm creating it for. The next thing that the pitch deck allows me to do is it makes it really easy to share, right? Because I've got it now, as you can see, in a Google Slides presentation. So it's very easy to share with a quick link. People can pull it up on their phones. It's definitely mobile optimized. And as we go through this, you're going to see that it really makes it easy for someone to go through at their own pace. And thirdly, kind of in line, that easy to share strategy is it's a presentation on demand. It really is. And not that I have to use the entire pitch deck as something as a presentation when I want to use it, but I can pull from it in many different ways. One of my strategies going forward the rest of 2025 is to be really getting involved with local events and trying to get into networking groups where there are other business-minded people, investors, entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be getting involved. And my point is that when I get the opportunity to give a presentation, I'm going to take it, right? And absolutely, why not? I already have the presentation built. I'm just going to be able to go to my pitch deck and say, oh, okay, I'm presenting to, I don't know, Santa Cruz networking group, right? And it's going to have investors in it. And it's also going to have people who might become customers of the Human-Canine Alliance. And so I'm going to want to make sure that my presentation that I prepare for them, that I pull from my pitch deck, is aligned in a way that fits with that audience, right? But the best part is the content's already built. That's the best part. All I have to do is pull from there and then just kind of tweak it and orient it and align it for my audience, right? So really an awesome, just couple months of work invested, but really going to be able to use it in so many different ways. I'm really excited about it. And then last but not least, to align my business priorities, my podcast content, and my social posts. I was just saying, I can use it to come back and make sure that my messaging is on point and my messaging is staying in track with what I'm already telling investors and what I'm already telling the public that we're trying to do. I don't want to get off track and get people confused if they go to the Facebook page and see something that really doesn't align with something they might have seen on the website, right? Or something they might have seen over on Instagram. I want to make sure everything is the same message across the board, no matter where they find us. That said, let's move into the pitch deck. Okay, so on the cover, as you can see, our tagline, which is really trying to capture the essence of what we're trying to do here, is 2 industries, 1 cure, disrupting mental health and rescue to save lives and reduce costs. And that is really considered to be a hook, honestly, meaning that is supposed to grab somebody's interest and make them want to go to the next page. So, next page. It's also supposed to be kind of a hook page, right? To get people to want to know more. And so our next hook stat is America is falling behind on the future of mental health care. And we wanted to back that up just a little bit on this slide because I feel like that's kind of a really lofty statement, you know? It's not the most compelling statement unless you have something to back it up right away. And so that's why we added, while UK, Canada, and 30 other countries invest in social prescriptions, America clings to pills and pays the price in lives and billions. I mean, that's compelling, right? So that makes me want to change the page. I'm going to change the page for you. Okay, so of course we start off with the problem. And again, a hook. America is prescribing a crisis while euthanizing a cure. And then this slide is really just trying to back up that claim of the problem and what the biggest problems are that we are trying to solve here. So this is how we do it. We back it up just a little bit more with some numbers, right? Mental health crisis. 60 million Americans struggle with mental health. 70% of them use prescription meds to regulate. Over $282 billion is spent annually on mental health. And these are still our current stats. And then we move into our rescue numbers, which is euthanasia. And 340,000 dogs are being euthanized every year, while there are proven stats, experiences, real life things happening, organizations out there proving it every day around the world right now, that dogs naturally offer emotional, physical, and cognitive benefits, and that they're teachable. So there's a solution that we're killing. There's a solution that we're euthanizing. Back to our hook in the title there, America is prescribing a crisis while euthanizing a cure. And then our last little image here, which I really loved. I just feel like this woman really captures the frustration that so many people are feeling about the way that they see mental health in our society today in America. So that said, our cure not only is here to transform one industry, it's here to transform 2 industries, that being the mental health industry and the rescue industry. And then also along the way, we have found that there's already an avenue for doing that, which is social prescribing, which is also why we have mentioned that here on this screen. Okay, so in this slide, what we really tried to do is highlight what social prescriptions are and what they're doing in the countries that have invested in them at this point. And UK is really leading the way. I mean, like I said in my last episode, they have implemented this nationally into their health program as of 2019. And they're seeing real stats. These are real stats, right? Their GP visits, their doctor visits are down 20 to 40%. Their ER visits, their emergency room visits are down 15 to 25%. Their return on investment, their ROI, they're seeing a return of £3 on those investments. And we talked a lot about this in the last episode, so I'm not going to go into it right now. So if you want to hear the details, right, go back to that episode. However, it's really exciting what they have already done in the UK and the way that we can learn from them and mimic them and just integrate it here into America. And as I'm saying here at the Human-Canine Alliance, just add dogs. Add rescue dogs to the social prescriptions programs because they are trainable and because we have a huge resource of them worldwide, right? Like I'm only calling out the euthanasia numbers here in America, but worldwide, the rescue industries are a problem. We're also targeting on this slide what social prescriptions are designed to improve, which is depression, anxiety, PTSD, social isolation, and helping people reduce the amount of medication that they are taking. And then on this slide, we have made sure that even if you are not reading each slide, if you are just a skimmer, right, you're going to see some numbers. We're going to capture you with some real numbers that are hard to ignore. And again, another kind of skim slide to help with supporting the problem, with supporting the timeliness of some solutions being introduced into our society now. Like, why does it need to happen now? The 3-month average doctor wait and the fact that 70% of people are taking medications, comparing around the rest of the world where we are in mental health, we're not doing really well. And so something's not working. And so therefore 70% of people being on medications obviously isn't the answer for everyone. And then in this slide, we really wanted to prove that this is being recognized not only by private organizations, but by federal organizations, by the government, right? This is a national crisis. This has been truly, honestly documented and recognized in multiple ways. And one of those ways is through the Federal Reserve naming a missing market and tying that to mental health. And then the other one is loneliness and social isolation being deemed a public health crisis in 2023. We've got a couple of charts here that if we got them this far into our presentation, for the skimmers, for the people who aren't going to read, we just really want to make sure we make an impact and we plant a seed in those people's minds. And then same thing here, we use the colors to tie into the graphs. And from a skimmer's point of view, that really just helps you to be able to tie the information, the message that's trying to get across at a really quick grab. Okay, and then we're moving into our solution. So we've done a lot of educating in this pitch deck and a lot of backing up our numbers. And I will tell you that is very much targeting American investors, because in America, we need to be educated on what social prescriptions are and how they can help our economy. But if I took this over to the UK or over to Canada, I wouldn't really have to educate them a whole lot on what social prescriptions are and what they can do for the economy, right? Those first 9 pages aren't all that applicable to them because they already know. They're already doing it, right? So this next part is the part that I feel like not only can help the US, but can help the UK and help the economies that are already working with social prescriptions, which is what the Human-Canine Alliance is here to offer. And that is the rescue dogs being integrated into social prescriptions. And so I'm just going to read this to you because I feel like it's a really good capture of what we're trying to do. We're not replacing pills or therapy. We're helping to build a bridge between modern medicine and natural long-term support through rescue dogs trained to benefit a specific person. Okay, so going into the solution for the Human-Canine Alliance, we have to prove why dogs are even applicable to mental health solutions, as well as how they apply to the social prescription aspect, right? And so these next couple of slides, I'm just going to fly through them real quick. But the point is that you can see that we have mapped out that they offer physiological effects, emotional effects, and behavioral effects. And on each slide, we really targeted exactly what that meant. So on the physiological slide, you might see that we mentioned PTSD, depression, and anxiety, and then we tied our backing stats to those specific things. And on the emotional effects, we really focused on loneliness and social isolation. And then on the last one, of course, behavioral effects, we tied those specifically to medication intake and tied those stats specifically to that. So again, really trying to be focused on how we're presenting the information at hand, because there's a lot of statistical information in this pitch deck, which can have a lot of meaning, but it doesn't matter if you don't present it in a way where it creates impact, where the person gets the message. Like, this is my salesperson, right? Like, I doubt there's going to be very many people who look at this pitch deck for the very first time with me, right? They're going to look at this pitch deck before they ever even talk to me, or they're going to maybe reach out to me and say, hey, I'd love to look at your pitch deck, and I'm going to send it to them and maybe have a little bit of an opportunity to pitch it up, right? But otherwise, they're going to look at it without me. So I want to make sure that this pitch deck and everything in it is not only explaining what we're trying to do and proving the need for it, but it's really placing those needs in a way that people can relate to it and people can understand it. So moving on. Here is where we really get into our actual solution, which is the app, right? The Human-Canine Alliance app. And we call it, THC app for Future America. I mean, how good is that, right? But the point is, we really check the boxes here at the top and we say what this app is going to do. It's going to be powered by AI. It's going to be backed by the community. It's going to have long-term success, and it's going to be a strategic entry point into healthcare reform. We tried to capture what we're doing here as well. We're saying we use AI to match rescue dogs with people in need, targeting mental health outcomes while positioning social prescriptions as a scalable U.S. healthcare solution. So not only are we providing the fact that we're offering a current solution to a current problem that we've already proven in our pitch deck prior to these slides, right? But we're showing that we're offering a long-term solution and a generational solution. And it's also, again, a solution that is for two different industries, right? I don't know how many times I can say that. That's the most exciting part to me, is it's not just one industry. This could really curb two different industries and worldwide, right? The concept is just so unique. And then over here on the right, again, for the skimmers, data backs potential results. And it's like, what's going to go down? Anxiety and depression, PTSD symptoms, medication usage, healthcare costs. What's going to go up? Quality of life, social connectivity, dog adoption success rates. This is all good stuff, right? This is all good stuff to be interested in and to want to invest in. So what is the app actually going to look like? Because we do not have it built yet. That's something I'm going to get into a little bit further here in the podcast as to where I'm at in terms of investments and where I'm at in terms of the software and the programs and the channels and all the messaging and all the things I need for the company. But the app is not anywhere near started yet. And so these are visions. I'm trying to make it relatable in ways that you already see doctor-related apps to look. Like you already see matchmaking-related apps to look. So I want to make it really easy for someone to come in and fly right through it. I don't want to make the app or the software an obstacle, right? I want to have all the other obstacles out there. There's going to be plenty of other obstacles, but I don't want the app or the software to be one of those problems. I really want it to be as user-friendly as possible. Okay, so this slide, it gives us an idea of what the human experience might look like on the app, right? And you're going to fill out a personalized form that is going to capture things like your mental health and emotional needs, lifestyle and environment, activity level, household details, allergies, sensitivities, your canine experience level, right? Your preferences on a canine breed or size, because a lot of this is us learning enough about you so that we can help the AI make the best matchmaking decisions possible. And then from the rescue center point of view, from the rescue center side, they're going to be filling out profiles for their dogs that are also going to have a personalized form. And that's going to capture things like the temperament, the behavioral traits, training capabilities, breed tendencies, health, age, and life stage, social compatibility, environmental compatibility, and of course their rescue history. And then we felt like we needed to take the human experience and the rescue experience and put them on one slide and help the person viewing the pitch deck to see it all in one place. So you've got your human profile and you've got your rescue profile. And as you can see, we have put in bold the items that we feel like are compatibility matches between this human and this rescue dog. And those are the quiet personality of the dog and this woman who is prone to anxiety. She's not going to want a hyper dog. She's not going to want a dog that is jumping all over the place and barking at a lot of things, right? She's going to want a quiet dog. So that's a good match. She has a small social circle, and this dog enjoys leisure walks. So if she has a small social circle, maybe part of her mental health needs is getting her out a little bit more, right? Is getting outside of that social circle, doing something outside of her routine, which maybe walk the dog around the block, which maybe that's not something she does usually, walking around the block. Maybe that will open her up to meeting someone who's at their mailbox when she walks by, right? So enjoying leisure walks and small social circle are a good compatibility match, because those are two things that could fill a need, honestly, for both of them, right? The dog would love the leisure walk, and the woman would probably really like to get out of her social circle a little bit and meet some new people, or just have a little bit more human interaction. And then thirdly, the woman enjoys gardening, and this dog digs holes when he's bored. So that takes me to, great transition, that's where the tailored training comes in. And so when the THC app is able to match that this woman enjoys gardening and this dog digs holes when he's bored, the THC app will then say, this dog could be trained to dig holes on cue. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about dogs being trained for people's specific needs, right? So if he can be trained by a trainer to dig on cue and not dig when he shouldn't be digging, or not dig where he's not supposed to be digging. But if he knows he can dig when he's told to dig, right, he's going to learn to just dig when he's told to dig. So if he can learn to dig on cue, and she loves to garden, well, what a cool match, right? Like, he could totally be with her out in the garden and digging all of her holes for her, which honestly, as a 65-year-old woman, she probably doesn't love doing anyway. I mean, as a 40-year-old woman, I don't really love doing that. So I can imagine she wouldn't mind having a dog dig her holes for her. So, these are the kinds of matches I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting outside the box, being creative. And then where does funded by the community come in? That's the built-in crowdfunding. So back to the list here with the human in need. She's on a budget, right? And I know that is a key factor to a lot of people when it comes to owning a dog is cost, because dogs do cost money, right? Not only the medical factors that you have to take into effect, their food, right? Just the food in general. But then if they get sick, or if they get into something they shouldn't get into, they have to go to the vet, and the vet is so expensive. We all know that. So her being on a budget makes probably all of this just a dream if we have no way of helping her fund it, right? Which we do, which is why every match will have a crowdfunding option. And that is going to be so that people have the ability to have the community help them pay for this dog. That would be such a huge benefit to their lives. And it would help with adoption fees, training fees, food, medical fees. People will be able to donate $5. People will be able to donate $10. People will be able to donate $1,000 if they want. The point is, anyone can download this app, or the woman can send this link out, share this link out to her profile. And therefore, anyone and everyone could donate to this match. And of course, I'm leaving out a lot of details. Also, in my mind, this crowdfunding option would not just be a one-time thing. This would be like a subscription base that people could say, you know what, I'm going to $5 a month, $10 a month, $100 a month be donating to the Human-Canine Alliance crowdfunding sponsor a match program, so that these matches, as they are made around the country, are, or maybe around your community, we could even localize it. Guys, see? Tell me what you think. It would be awesome to be able to donate to something that you then see walking down the street, wouldn't it? Like, how cool would that be? It's like, I know we all love to, there's so many of us who want to donate and feel like we're part of something and feel like we're helping give back. And I feel like it can be really hard to donate your hard-earned money when you don't really see what's happening with it. I know a lot of organizations, they send out booklets, they send out emails, they send out newsletters. So back to the Human-Canine Alliance, think about this. If you were donating on a subscription base to the Human-Canine Alliance app, and then you saw one of the matches, the dog and the human, walking down the street, how happy would that make your heart? How happy would it make your heart? I know it'd make your heart so happy. Okay, I'm going to just keep moving. I love this tagline here at the bottom, which is really emphasizing the results of what we're trying to do here, which is emotional healing, economic relief, a future where impact and investment grow together.
Isn't that good? I think it's so good.
Okay, we're almost at the end. When it comes to the training experience, this is very much for the trainers, right? And so what are the trainers going to be doing? They're going to be getting a report from the THC app that is going to say to them, this person and this dog have been matched. And these are the reasons why. These are the characteristics that they've matched on. And this is our recommendation as to the customized training plan that you should do for the dog in order to make it the best possible match for the human and the dog. And then, of course, there's going to be real-time adjustments. I am a big believer in technology, but I'm a bigger believer in the human brain, okay? So I'm always about looking at the data and what AI has to give us and offer us, and then saying, does that make the most sense? Or should we customize that a little bit more for the human reality of it, right? So I'm all about a human trainer looking at these reports and adjusting them real time if they need to be adjusted. And then putting these dogs through these training programs that are customized specifically for them. In my mind, they're learning anywhere from 3 to 5 skills that are specific to the match, specific to the human that they're being adopted by, and back to the recommendations that the AI Matchmaker app has spit out for us. And then from there, the dog and the human will then go through their own training. They'll have their own set of training that they need to go through so that the dog and the human can successfully communicate together. And then, of course, you have to include the dog's experience, right? They're going to get very specific, unique training that's not only specific to what the human needs, but it's specific to what this dog's natural behavior already shows. We're really trying to lean into the strengths of the dog so that the dog is happy too. It's not like we're having the dog dig holes when the dog hates dirt, right? And then we land on, again, another hook kind of statement, which is let's change course. Help us turn America's pill bond into a human-canine bond and help build a foundation for social prescriptions in America. And then our roadmap is a really good snapshot of where we've been, where we are right now, and where we're going. And this is a slide that if you're building a pitch deck, you need to have, right? People need to get a high level view of exactly where the business is at. The whole pitch deck is about the concept, is about the problem, the why now, and the solution, right? But this really gives a snapshot of the behind the scenes and the nitty gritty and exactly what we're trying to do to get to that solution. And I did want to just take you over here to the new website because this is now the communication hub for the Human-Canine Alliance. If you would like just a snapshot of our latest and greatest in terms of the podcast episodes, in terms of the pitch deck slides. If you want to join our email list so that you can start getting updates via email, please do so via the website. All right, we have covered a lot and we are going to cover some more, but let's take a quick break. Go get your coffee, go get your water, whatever it is you get. We'll see you back here in a few. Hey, thanks for listening to the commercial break and not skipping through. If you are a small business looking for some inexpensive exposure and professionally voiced commercial, head on over to Buy Me a Coffee and you can buy this ad space for a pretty inexpensive price. You get to keep the audio file. We'll see you soon. Okay, thank you so much for joining us for episode number 10 of the Human-Canine Alliance Podcast. I am so happy to have been with you here today, and I'm looking forward to being with you for the next 10 episodes of the Human-Canine Alliance. And what do those look like, right? What do the next 10 episodes look like? We are definitely going to be pulling in people to interview in the next 10 episodes. And I am putting a call out there. I am looking for people who have expertise and experience and knowledge when it comes to mental health, when it comes to working with dogs for therapeutic reasons. And then, of course, when it comes to social prescriptions. If you have any sort of expertise or experience, knowledge in those 3 areas, I would really, really love to hear from you and see if it would make sense for you to be interviewed on the podcast, for us to discuss your experience and your knowledge, to really, throw it in the bucket here and see how it fits, see if it's a positive effect or a negative effect. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the Human-Canine Alliance, we are here to be flexible and to bounce around and to adapt and figure out how this works. How do we make the Human-Canine Alliance work for people with mental health issues and for the rescue industry? Because it has the potential. It definitely has the potential. How do we make this work, right? I need your help. I need your help. So please reach out. If you have that kind of experience, I'm putting a call out for guests I'm going to be interviewing in the next 10 episodes. And we want to hear from you. I want to interview you. I want to meet you. That being said, let me put out a couple of plugs for all of my channels. So we now have a website, right? Human-CANINE-Alliance.com. That is where you're going to find all of our communication channels. That's our communication hub. All of our latest episodes of the podcast are going to be there. Links to our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, and our Buy Me a Coffee. I'm going to be starting communication via email here very soon. And if you would like to be on that list, please add your email to my website. There is a subscription box. You'll see it right there. It's easy. Just add in your email address and it'll put you on the list. So thank you so much for joining the Human-Canine Alliance podcast. I am Stacy, your host. This was episode number 10. We are more than happy to have been here for episode number 10. We look forward to being here for another 10 episodes. I hope you continue to listen.